Welcome to Innovator Baat, and I'm your host Rishabh. And as you know, every time I come, I bring to you innovative and interesting stories of startups incubated at IIT Kanpur. These are the startups who are disrupting the technology in India, who are actually pushing the Make in India boom, who are actually the job providers. In this series, today I have with me a very special guest, Commander Anupam Prasad, founder of Nitrodynamics, and I know his story. It's very interesting, and hope you will also like. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much, Rishabh. Thank you.
I'll start with a basic question so that our audience can also understand what work Nitrodynamics is doing and what's your vision and goal.
Essentially, Rishabh, Nitrodynamics is a new age defense and aerospace company. We have had the opportunity, since technology is changing so fast, that we can attempt to be a little new age in terms of the technology we adopt and the solutions we provide to our customers who are the warfighters. And in this, we have been successful to a certain degree, and it's our privilege and our fortune to be associated with IIT Kanpur as an incubator, and I'm sure that with this jointness we scale greater heights.
When we talk about the products which Nitrodynamics is providing, which is next gen products, any few of them you can mention and their functions. What are those? Like I remember when we were discussing, you are making telecommunication drones, I think, or a spy drone to be specific with.
Yes. So, if you look at warfare, warfare is actually divided into two parts. One is that you actually go and attack. The second is that you actually try to know what the enemy is thinking, what your adversary is thinking, and you try to get into his mind. So these days, if you see, warfare is just not going and attacking, and we don't want to take over lands, but we want to have a deterrence and dominance. So in that case, there's a concept called C4ISR, which stands for command, control, computers, communication, and ISR. ISR stands for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. So it is this concept which actually avoids wars, but still gets you to maintain the dominance over your adversary. So and one of the way to do it is like what you mentioned. It's a spy drone. It's a hyperspectral drone conditioned specifically for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance mission. Now it is not only from the air. So now we are expanding into underwater, that is subsea, and we are also expanding into vehicular. And by new age, we means that we need to automate all this, so that in the hierarchy of intelligence and information flow, information really flows very fast, and our decision makers are able to take actions against the actionable intelligence that they get.
When we are discussing about spying drones and collecting information for the enemy, and as you said that it's very important, that can eliminate wars. At the same time, it's very critical to be hiding your identity. What if you are caught, or how you are defying their radars? Is it identifiable in their radar, or what is that technology?
Yes, this technology is totally passive. So that means you keep on listening to all the emissions from, let's say, very low frequencies to very high frequencies, like radars and 4G LTE. So you will be able to intercept anything which is in the air in terms of RF, firstly. Secondly, we are also now digressing into hyperspectral, which is ultraviolet and other emissions, what the enemy units would probably make. So it is about collecting data and making sense of it. And then it also involves, like, if you're hearing somebody talking, sending a fax from one place to another, and you can intercept that and you can get the fax. So it gives you but there are payload delivery issues. We need to make separate drones, we need to make separate ships, we need to make separate for this purpose. So that is what we are into. And
you yourself were serving in Indian Navy as commander, and at that time also I guess these things might have been there. How was the spying at that time and compared to what Nitrodynamics is doing right now?
Uh, Actually, I wouldn't call it spying.
Okay.
Spying is obviously they use the same equipment as ours, but ours is more of situational awareness. It is more of situational awareness. It's not exactly spying, because spying is just a subset of what you call covert missions. That is just a subset of this. However, this encompasses everything. I mean, you need to collect data about the enemy. Like you, you say data is gold, right? These days. So that is what you do, and this is the invisible data flowing here that we tend to yes, somebody might call it spying because you're trying to figure out what he's doing, but it's not exactly spying. So
A covert operation.
yeah, it's a overt kind of a situational awareness or domain awareness, you can say.
So, when this idea of starting a startup came, I mean, you were in the Navy, and then starting a startup post retirement, or did you retire or you took your early?
Yeah, so
How was that story?
I served after I joined the National Defense Academy in 1992, and I retired in 2012. So after serving my time, I I tried to do something on my own, which was kind of it would be relevant to my experience previously. So that's how I started this company. Although at that time, not many people were familiar with this. Forget about thinking about starting up. They were not even familiar with the word called startup. So, but things have changed now, and it's it's really easy. And I see a lot of students. Earlier, they used to be those times. Their priority used to be get into some government job. कुछ नहीं बना तो किसी तरह गवर्नमेंट जॉब में चले जाओ. बट आई थिंक फॉर अ ब्राइट ब्रेन it is better. He can contribute better to the nation if he's contributing in a more flexible and a non-bureaucratic way. And the returns, of course, are very different. If you are bright, you do well anyway. So then I started my startup. It was sometimes it used to seem to me that it's totally unsurmountable, but somehow we stuck through. And what I can really advise people who are thinking of startup, it is not about starting up. It is actually about finishing what you started. So don't lose hope, and you have to get this ecosystem up. So that's what my advice would be.
So, आपने आर्मी में सर्व किया, तो वो वाले किस्से अगर आप हमारे साथ शेयर कर पाएँ, क्योंकि काफ़ी हर बार इंटरेस्टिंग होता है जब वी आर टॉकिंग टू अ नेवी पर्सन, वी आर टॉकिंग टू अ आर्मी पर्सन. उस टाइम का, क्योंकि 30 years आपने सर्व किया है, so कुछ
there are so many things which we can say, but but the most exciting part is that you are actually in forefront of action. You are the bullet. You are that shell. You are right in front of the action. And then you realize, because I just remember that when I was 19 and a half, I put on my first stripes. And till the time I didn't put on the stripes, it was सब ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं, सब आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, दौड़ रहे हैं, कूद रहे हैं, पढ़ रहे हैं. बट जिस दिन आपको स्ट्राइप्स लगता है, देन यू रियलाइज व्हाट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी यू हैव गॉट, एंड दैट एक्चुअली चेंजेस योर थॉट. एंड इट इज एट दैट टाइम all your training comes into perspective. एक तो you have to be very, I know it's a very cliched thing that you have to be very focused. But what I learned was, I've had 2 startups. In the second startup, I did not commit one mistake, was that I was much better prepared. That is point number one. Much better prepared. That means when you are getting a company up, a startup is just not a program or a code, or it is a business. So it does matter how you run the business. So you have to learn about accounts, finance, HR management, sales, marketing. And as a startup, we do not. There is no luxury of having 10 people around you who can help you. So it is almost every day is about 18 to 20 hours
working.
It's not working because you started up. It's your hobby, so you like it. You find solutions for yourself. Technology solutions, of course, you're good at it, so there's not a problem. But then what I would suggest is that it is more of introspection and a self journey which you have to undertake. That is very important.
For you, as I can see, there were many challenges. First thing, there was no, as you mentioned earlier, there was nothing like startup. Even people were thinking at that point of time. And one thing also is there that the age, the guy who is starting early, like 23, 24, उसमें ज़्यादा ऐसा उबाल रहता है. He's much more energetic. And एक चीज़ की आपका घर का रिएक्शन कैसा था? How was your like family members when you said कि मुझे startup करना है after retirement? How did they take it?
Obviously, it was see when you are 40. I retired. I was 40 years old, and I had a son who was going to primary school. And so when I discussed this with my father that I would like to start up my company, so he advised me rightly that please reorient yourself, go and work in a bigger company. Even if you don't work, even if it is low paying, you go, but get into a position where you are making decisions, or you see other people making decisions. So then I was in a MNC for about 1.5 years. At the same time, my mentor, somehow I made a mentor, and he said ki you start building up your company do some moonlighting, start building up. Don't commence the operations, but there are a lot of other things which you have to prepare. So that's how I did it. Otherwise, especially for a Fauji, making a transition is a little difficult because you're totally away from doing business per se. It's for anybody. Anybody is passing out from school. So there's an advantage of starting at 40, and there's a disadvantage of starting at 40. Similarly, it's for somebody who's 22, 23 years. But what I feel is that you should start early. You look at Elon Musk, and you count the number of the top guys, and they're all started early because your experience it's exponential. It really gathers momentum.
So, like, how was your family's take? If you explain that, like your father's angle, you told me. What was your most importantly, wife at that time?
Oh, they were totally supportive. They could really understand what we as a family were getting into, and I was fortunate that my wife also joined me, and she was the biggest support actually. You're managing child, the office, and that was startup office and the house. So we tried to do it collectively, whatever we could. It's not difficult if you jump into it actually, but it is very strenuous. So you have to be like a marathon runner. I may not like running 40 kilometers, but the marathon runner, it is same. It takes away all his energy, but he likes it. So it's like that. So you start liking it, and the day you start liking it, then. But you have to have support. There is no doubt about it. Without my wife's support, we wouldn't have gone anywhere.
While I was interviewing one of the startups, उन्होंने एक बात बहुत अच्छी बोली थी. In startup life, you fail daily, you win daily. It's just that you have to just be doing it. तो वो क्या चीज़ थी कि one thing that you were very much motivated, you wanted to start, but वो कौन सा एक moment आपको याद आता है कि तब आपको लगा कि हाँ भाई अब तो हो जाएगा.
I've known a lot of startup founders, and all startups have started on an impulse. You can never prepare yourself to start up. Otherwise, you'll never start up. जब रेस शुरू होती है, you have to go on the gun.
Yeah.
That is what you have to do.
Yeah.
And just try it. There is no harm. अभी, and even if you fail, like in a startup, if you're doing 10 things in a day, 9 things will fail. So it's more about handling failures than सक्सेस तो बहुत बाद में आता है. जिस दिन सक्सेस आएगा उस दिन आप स्टार्टअप नहीं होगे ना.
आपको अभी तक लगता है आप सक्सेसफुल हैं?
हाँ, बिकॉज 9 चीज़ें फेल होती हैं, एक चीज़ पास हो जाती है. सो
जब डिफेंस सेक्टर में हम बात करते हैं, इट्स वेरी न्यू टू इंडिया एंड हाउ मच इंडिया इज प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर इट, एक चीज़ वो, एंड हाउ डिड द इकोसिस्टम ट्रीट यू एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर? Was there enough amount of funding? How did you manage the finances? Because प्रोटोटाइप बनाने में ही बहुत पैसे लग जाते हैं, तो वो कैसे किया है अभी तक आपने?
देखिए, स्टार्टअप के पास फंडिंग तो कभी नहीं होता
जी,
अनलेस यू आर लाइक वेरी वेल फंडेड. बट अगर 1 लाख स्टार्टअप्स है तो उसमें से सिर्फ 100 को कुछ फंडिंग मिलती है इन टर्म्स ऑफ बिग फंडिंग, कि आप अपना कॉर्पोरेट की तरह, एक बड़े कॉर्पोरेट की तरह अपना ऑफिस बना सको और अपने ऑपरेशंस कर सको. Rest all startups remain in ideation phase for a certain time. After that, that idea, once the idea catches that momentum, that is the time then you start getting funding. And then the best funder is your customer.
Yeah.
So what I want to tell people, don't forget the word called pivot. It is very important.
Yeah.
It is very important.
That too at right time.
Yeah.
But how did you like many of startups have heard like people saying that pivoting at right time, but how do you evaluate it? That is it the right decision? Because is it there in a voice saying कि हाँ ये करना चाहिए? क्या होता है when you pivoted? What was that thing?
When you are doing 20 hours a day, the same thing, तो कुछ भी चेंज होता है ना, तो आपको पता चल जाता है. एंड यहाँ पे वो अगेन स्टार्टिंग अप इज अ माइंडसेट एक्चुअली. इट इज़ नथिंग टू डू विद द स्किल्स और एनीथिंग. सो व्हेन यू कम टू नो कि अच्छा ठीक है, मेरा ये प्रोडक्ट है, मुझे थोड़ा सा इसमें चेंजेस करने पड़ेंगे. हम लोग अपने ही अगर उसमें लगे रहेंगे, अगर उसमें लिपट जाते हैं अपने थॉट्स में, सो आप पिवट नहीं कर पाओगे. सो पिवटिंग इज एक्चुअली कीपिंग योर आईज एंड ईयर्स ओपन.
Yeah, you have to be very observant about.
Very observant. Sometimes pivoting costs a lot of money, which the startups do not have.
Yeah.
So sometimes it is not an option. Sometimes a soft pivot is required. Sometimes, so you have to evaluate that. Make one. Get your team members in front of a whiteboard and just discuss it. It is very important to discuss it, because otherwise अकेले तो pivot startup में नहीं हो सकता, because everybody's role is required.
How much big team is Nitrodynamics right?
We are right now 24.
And you are operational in which all areas? Like which all cities? Where is the main hub?
Main hub is in Greater Noida.
Greater Noida.
Yeah.
And here in IIT Kanpur, I would like to understand. Like I already know, my audience want to understand. Like what is the project you are working in, or what is that program you have got here?
So when I came to IIT Kanpur, what the most important thing which I was looking for is, firstly, this is a beautiful institute. It's got all the facilities and resources what a startup would need to support itself without spending hundreds of crores. Point number 1. Point number 2, I was looking at people who are actually dedicated into defense R&D, because defense R&D is just not kola barud. It encompasses everything, you know, from digital signal processing to AI to your aeronautics to electronics to mechanical to it encompasses all the technologies which are developing right now.
Yeah.
Because finally what do? We try to get on top of the enemy using our technology.
Yeah.
पहले किसी ने पत्थर से भाला फेंकते थे, फिर किसी ने आयरन का मेटल का भाला बना दिया. It was more effective. So that is what you do. So, and that is why, since this is the birthplace of technological minds, we thought that let's develop an ecosystem here itself and try to do something better for the nation. Secondly, the most important thing, which I take it as a personal this thing, is that we want to motivate the students here and the IIT ecosystem to pay a little attention to defense, because defense is a social sector actually, because it affects all 142 crore
Yeah.
individuals, and responsibility for doing defense R&D does not only rest with the government or DRDOs, or it is every person's responsibility. So if we can achieve that kind of a
Mindset.
culture, thought in our country, everybody would contribute. किसी को छोटा सा idea है कि मैं ये कर सकता हूँ, that should be encouraged.
And that's how we will grow actually.
That's how we'll grow. अभी क्या होता है, I was talking to a lot of people here, and it was like, sir, I've got this idea for vibration damping and all that. But now in India he doesn't have an opening. So he's saying, okay, I'll go to Boeing or Airbus or some place, and so that is also one thing.
आपने फिनेंसेस कैसे मैनेज किए थे उस पर थोड़ा सा, क्योंकि 24 लोगों की टीम आप लेके चल रहे हो, और सबसे बड़ा सवाल ये होता है, पहला तो आप टीम कैसे मैनेज कर रहे हो, आप हायरिंग कैसे कर रहे हो, है ना? आर देयर प्लान्स ऑफ हायरिंग IITs, the top intellectual minds, and how you have managed finances, because as per I know, you were bootstrapped from starting.
Yeah.
So थोड़ा सा लाइट उस पर.
Finances, if I tell you again, I told you it's support from especially my wife, because we took out all our provident fund what I got after retirement, gratuity, and then there was a time I had to sell off my house.
House?
Yeah, because otherwise how do you fund it?
Yeah.
Right? And my wife without batting an eyelid, she said, please go ahead.
Yeah.
दूसरा खरीद लेंगे बाद में. So I mean that's the kind of support which I got. So
It's very rare to find.
yeah, because that time nobody used to invest in defense.
Yeah, obviously. Like right now also there's very less.
Yeah, right now also it's very, because again the culture of this thing needs to be developed for people to understand. Of healthcare, education, everybody understands, because every day you are dealing with the same issues. But finances, but now after for my second startup, Nitrodynamics, finances have been a little easier. Firstly because now we are getting a lot of opportunities to apply for grants, and IIT, you know, that's what I'm saying. But once like we are affiliated with SIIC, and they have really helped us. I mean, every day you really feel that, you know, they are totally involved in helping you.
Yeah.
And they are I could say now for the second startup, apart from my wife, my SIC is one of the biggest support.
Thank you so much, sir. So, how do you think this thing, like right now it's growing slowly, the ecosystem for defense in India, and as we discussed, it's people's responsibility. How do you think that it is going to be like 20 years, 10 years down the line? What can you see in this ecosystem?
See, right now, what I see is that not much of actual make in India is happening in defense. More, it is quite a bit of white labeling. Take somebody else's and just integrate it and make it your own. But finally, it doesn't serve the purpose, because without technology, you can't fight with your neighbor's weapons, right?
Yeah.
You need to have your own weapons to fight. So, but now, last 4-5 years, it has really grown. If you look at, there's a program called IDEX. In that program, and there are other programs also. I was so happy to know that IDEX they signed 350th contract.
Hmm.
So you can imagine 350
companies are-
different disparate technologies for defense.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing for a country. I mean, even US will not make 350 technologies
In
in
such
one
a
year.
short period of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that has happened because it is us,
Mhm.
youngsters. I mean, when I see, sir, I've just passed out of college, I had this idea
Mhm.
that this is the way the parachute drop should happen.
Mhm.
And here I am, sir, I made this parachute which does this and all that. So, or uh, and there are people who have come back from US and all these places. There was I met somebody who started up, and he said he was working with one of Honeywell or something in defense,
Uh-huh.
and he left everything and he came here.
Okay.
I mean, I was really surprised.
Mhm.
Working for about 18 years abroad,
Mhm.
and he started his startup, and now I was so surprised. He showed me he opened his cupboard, and it was not an office, it was just a residence which he had converted into office. He opened the this thing and said, sir, look at this is a synthetic aperture radar.
Wow.
So
And he made it.
he's
from
made
scratch.
it. He's made it.
Yeah. In Nitrodynamics also, like we are producing everything in India. also.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are producing, and that gives us a lot of. So, in effect, it's not only helping us to earn revenue. It is also, if you make in India, then I can involve a lot of people instead of them going abroad. Finally, I feel that aim is life. Aim in one's life is a fortune worth finding, but not in foreign lands.
Yeah.
In your heart itself.
Yeah.
So.
So एक थोड़ा सा नखरे वाला sorry, एक थोड़ा सा personal question. What is the close you are doing this year? Like कितना कमा लिया अभी तक आप? And who all you have supplied your these technologies?
Last year we did about 3 crores because we are trying to make something. उसका एक हमने component ही बेच पाए. But I can tell you from my previous startup, we knew for first 5 years we are not going to make any sales. Because
पहले से पता
because अब 2 साल आपको लगेगा एक प्रोडक्ट बनाने में,
प्रोडक्ट
उसको 1.5 से 2 साल लग जाएगा उसको फील्ड टेस्ट करने में. फिर उसके बाद 1 year it takes about 1 year it takes for the customer to buy that item and complete that complete process, deliver and pay you the money. So we started in 2012 and true to what we had thought, 2017 we got about 10-12 crores in a bank. उसकी वजह से then we could manage another, because defense में especially when you are starting up, proving your technology takes time.
Yeah.
So you have to be very bootstrapped. There's a tip to this. You don't have to hire 150 people because for 1 year, if it takes 150 man hours, man days or something, you just hire 8 good guys for 3 years.
Then to
Yeah, because आपका धीरे धीरे होता रहेगा, so your product matures a little bit. For Nitrodynamics, again it took about 4 years for the first project to be made, first product to be made, and that we have already designed. Now IIT would now we are looking at expanding into other product lines also, like undersea, as I said. So that is where we are looking for very bright brains here who are मतलब हमें बिल्कुल मैवरिक्स चाहिए इस बिजनेस में. So in fact we wanted to invite others for internships, for PhD students and everybody else here.
So internship, this was the right time actually. Students here at IIT, they get free by April end.
Yeah.
And there is like 2.5 months of gap when they
हम
look
बस
for the
I think
internship.
we just missed it by about 15 days or something.
Yeah.
By the time we came, it was students had already gone.
हाँ.
But still, we would like to, and our office runs here. It runs 24 hours. So
24 hours.
Yeah, we are open 24 hours.
Oh wow.
In fact, that's what we are looking at. If somebody is interested in doing something, he can come discuss things with us. Obviously, it's okay for, it's good for interns or somebody who's doing his coursework also and he wants to explore this.
Yeah.
That is very important.
So, what is that one piece of advice the person who is watching you right now, who has something in his mind or has been nagging that I want to do, is not able to leave his job and is unaware about the ecosystem which is there in India right now? So what is that advice would you like to give to the audience?
If you want to do something outside your comfort zone, outside your regular zone, then you have to do something called moonlighting. That means give up your sleep and just follow your dreams and discuss your ideas with others so that they are able to support you. You will require their support when you think that it is, but then you also have to take a chance. Finally, if you want to do something, a startup, then you have to do it 24 hours. So it cannot continue forever. So have trust in yourself, take the jump. If you fail, then you'll get another job. Do that job for 2-3 years and again attempt. So the journey of startup, as I said, is not about starting up. It is finishing what you started. उसके बीच में is your time. फेल हो जाओ, उठ जाओ, पैसे नहीं मिल रहे, go and do a work, but come and finish it. It might be with breaks, but come and finish it. That's what I want to say.
Also, Commander Anupam is participating in ASEAN India Startup Summit, which is going to happen in month of July. It's initiative of Government of India and ASEAN countries, which is hosted every year, wherein startups from ASEAN nations and India's 40 best selected startups from India will be participating. There will be a lot to explore for startups. There will be a lot of opportunities, and congratulations for that again.
Thank you, and I must thank SIC for doing this for us. They really helped us, and they have been actually the kind of mentors which any startup would die for. Every day, my protocol officer guides me. He takes, कभी-कभी मेरी क्लास भी लेते हैं वो कि सर आपको ये बोला था आपने किया नहीं. So that's kind of a mentorship which they are giving, which you'll not get anywhere.
Thank you for the show, and I think the just not one episode is enough for us. There's a lot more to talk, but we'll have to end it here because there is a limitation of time. It was very much fun talking to you, knowing your story, and it was really inspiring, I'll say. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thanks.